Welcome back team.
So fine team. So we understand how to pull a image from ACR to Kubernetes. Now we need to understand furthermore, when we deploy a container, especially team. So when we deploy a container into the Kubernetes, we faced an issue called container creation config error, right? So that was the issue. Let me simulate the same thing and we will proceed from there onwards, okay? Okay? Alright team. So fine, our cluster is ready. And also, I just want to discuss with you first one thing. Did I show you how to connect a virtual machine via Visual Studio Code? Anyway, I will show that option first quickly. I'm not very sure whether I showed or not. I will show that option first, team, okay? So, first what you need to do, just a second, team. Yeah, so what we need to do first, I believe, please install the Visual Studio Code in your machine. I'm showing an option how to connect a VM via Visual Studio Code. If I already showed you, you can ping S in the chat box so that I can ignore this one, okay? Okay, so what exactly the case here is, team? Please install the Visual Studio Code in your machine. So just go to the internet, there you can see an option called Visual Studio Code download. Just go there and search for this. There you can see download links. Here you can download corresponding to your VM configuration and machine configuration. You can go for this particular link. That is one thing. Once you download the Visual Studio Code, team, so what exactly you need to do? You go to the Visual Studio Code. Once you open the Visual Studio Code, let me open the Visual Studio Code. Yeah, this is what the my local Visual Studio Code looks like. Step number 1, what you need to do, you just go to there is a plugin section. Okay, this is what the extension section. Please click on the extension section, team. When you click on the extension section, please search for SSH. When you search for the SSH, it will show you remote-SSH option. Okay, remote-SSH option. Please select this option. There you can see a button called install button. Please install that one. So that's the first step which you need to do. Okay, alright. Once you install this one, once your process is done, what exactly the new thing you can experience here is that the left bottom corner you can see a 2 arrow symbol. Here I believe you are seeing a arrow symbol. Left bottom corner. Let me see what of the screen you guys are seeing so that I can easily understand. Yeah, whether you are able to see or not. I believe it is not visible for you. Just a second. Yeah, this is the one exactly I'm talking about, team. Okay. There is a left bottom corner, you can see 2 arrow symbol pointing each other, okay? You click on that. When you click on that connect to host, there you need to configure your virtual machine. Go to configure SSH host. There it will show you a default path in your machine. Please click on the default path. Once you click on the default path, here is the section, config section. Exactly, you will configure your VM. It's simply what exactly you need to do, I will tell. The host can be anything, this name can be anything, that is your understandable format. And also host name, this IP must be the same one whatever you are seeing on the portal. So please use the same keys, host name. Use keychain means you are not using any key based approach. If you use key based approach, I will show that one tomorrow, don't worry. But if you are not using key based approach, just keep no. And there is a user which is Azure user and the port, right? That's all you need to provide him. Okay, I'm copying this section to you in the chat box. These are the setups exactly you need to do. Once you are done, just save this one, Ctrl S. Then again come back to right arrows and go to the connect to host. When you click on the connect to host this time, team, what exactly the change you can notice here is it will list you what are all the VMs you configured. That is what this host section, okay? It will list you. You please go there, for example, AZ-VM. When you click on that one, automatically it will start forming a connection. And it will ask you the password to key in because your VM has a password today, okay? It will just ask you, team. So what you need to do, you just need to provide a password for that one. That's it, okay? So once you provide the password, team, so now good, right? See, you got connected. Now you just click on the open folder. You're trying to open the folder called home Azure user, okay? That is what exactly you're doing. So when you're opening this one, sometimes it will ask you one more time. Please key in the same password, team, okay? That's it. So once you provide, you are inside a VM. Okay, you are completely inside a VM. To know that whether really you are inside a VM or not, just a moment. To know that whether really you are inside a VM or not, I believe you can see this one. Yeah, you can see this one. If you plus open this one, there you can see especially you can sense here. Okay, you can sense here. There you are seeing a lot of things here. So whatever your VM folder structure, directory structure, completely in the UI format. So that is exactly the benefit you will get, team. Okay, a UI format of Ubuntu you can see in a UI visualization. Okay, that's exactly the advantage if you use Visual Studio Code. So you can see all the folder structure on the UI, a kind of UI visualization, right? That's an advantage. Alright, team. I just start to show you so that I think we can make a connection to virtual machine via Visual Studio Code. Okay. Alright. So once you have connected to the VM, click on the terminal section. This is exactly the terminal. How exactly you are experiencing your terminal section, a command line or putty, the same connection, team. This one also username at the rate virtual machine. Okay. Alright. So once you are here, what exactly the problem we are getting now? So first and foremost thing, let me double check whether your Kubernetes cluster is on or not. Okay. kubectl get svc is the command to know whether your services are being run or not. Yes, of course your cluster is on. Once your cluster is on, what exactly I'm suggesting you here, you can go there and you can check your parts. What are the parts earlier I think you tried to place here. Okay, kubectl get parts. This is what exactly I'm trying to highlight. Last time when we deploy our middleware part, we deployed our middleware part, especially our YAML, whatever the part manifest YAML, right? We have deployed that one manually, correct, team? This is what exactly we took some deployment.yaml. We filled this one, right? We filled this one. We pull the image into the Kubernetes, but we are facing an issue called container configurer. Why we are getting this one? Remember one thing. Whenever you face an issue in real time, firstly what you need to do, first you please go there and just describe it. That's a basic rule, team. Okay, describe PO. Okay, just go there, describe PO. You please select your part name. This is my part name. I'm selecting this one. Sorry, I think you selected wrongly. Just go there one more time. kubectl describe PO. I'm just selecting the PO. That's all. Okay, I believe. I think let me zoom out. Okay, just a second. Alright. Okay, just a moment. So I just want to highlight you the error here. So what exactly it is telling here, team? Just let me take this one up so that I think your visualization would be good. Okay, now I'm just little bit zoom in. Yeah. Okay, fine, team. And also I'm just moving this one also this side, so that entire screen you can see this. If you see this one, team, what exactly the problem here? I'm getting few problems here. First and foremost thing, if you see there, you are seeing some warning, normal, warning. So if you notice the messages, successfully pulled image. So that is done already. Okay, you have successfully pulled an image. That's awesome. And also if you notice, whenever this particular pod is getting scheduled, you are seeing a message called secret DB details not found. Okay, secret DB details not found. You know why we are getting that message? There is a reason for that. So we need to fix this one. That's a problem exactly we are getting now. Okay, how to fix this one? So that is also we are going to learn now. Okay, how to fix this one? For example, team, this is what our deployment YAML. This is our deployment section. There you are expecting some environment variable, right? This is an environment variable section. If you close all the environment variables, so that you will get an idea. See, all these are environment variables: RDG hostname, port, DB name, username, password. You know what exactly you are trying to do here? Let me show you on that diagram so that you will get a very good idea. For example, team, let me take a Kubernetes cluster. Okay, I'm just considering a Kubernetes cluster. This is what your Kubernetes cluster. In this particular Kubernetes cluster, what exactly you are trying to do, I'll show you. Okay, Azure Kubernetes. I'm just considering the Azure Kubernetes. Okay, this is what your Azure Kubernetes today, team. Okay, awesome. Now what you are doing inside the Kubernetes? Inside the Kubernetes, you have a node or VMs. Usually we'll talk about VMs, right? So VMs, right? You can consider a VM or something like that. So I'm just considering a VM. Sorry, I'm just considering a VM. Especially those VMs are called as nodes. Okay, please understand. Please understand it. Now, what exactly you are trying to do? Let me take another box here so that your understanding would be really good. So this is the box, another box I'm just considering here. And by the way, I'm calling this one is sitting in a zone 1. Under zone 1, you have a virtual machine which is already there. Okay, that is exactly the case you are seeing here. Okay, this is the thing exactly we are talking about. Okay, so now once you have this setup team, now what exactly the point I'm trying to highlight? This Kubernetes cluster may have multiple nodes also. Those nodes may belongs to different zones. So you should understand that concept. Okay, I'm just considering this one as a zone 2. Okay, this one as a zone 2. So that one is a zone 1 and this one as a zone 2. Now, this is zone 1, this is zone 2. Okay. Now, you please consider MySQL server. I'm just considering a MySQL, which is coming from Azure MySQL. I'm just considering Azure MySQL. Okay. But please consider the Azure MySQL server. I'm just considering one server. Okay. So, under this MySQL server, there is a database. This is a database which is sitting outside the Kubernetes cluster. Please understand. Please understand him. This is sitting outside the Kubernetes cluster. But your Kubernetes cluster is separated. Your database is separated. Please understand him. So, once you have this situation, what exactly the point I'm highlighting here is, you should think about the pods now. This is the pod exactly you are trying to deploy today. If you try to deploy two pods will go to two different zones. These are nothing but application replicas, your deployment replicas. So two applications are running inside your Kubernetes. That's awesome. What I'm doing here, I'm going here and I'm just giving some color for them so that you will understand easily. Okay. Alright. So these are the two parts. Okay, this is a part. This is a part 1. This is a part 2 or something like that. So now what exactly the point I'm highlighting, team? What are the parts are there? The parts are connected to MySQL server. Why these things needs to be connected to MySQL server? That's the first thing you should understand, team. So basically, this is what your real-time structure also, team. Please understand one small logic here. So what are the applications you are deploying in the Kubernetes cluster? Always, if you are trying to store some sensitive information or some information about your application, always you look for storage. You can look for storage, a kind of a database is a normal case. Sometimes you can look for either disk or file also. I'm not saying that is not possible. Even you can store the data in the disk or file also. In this example, we are focusing on the database. So, parts are writing or reading the data from database. That's a point you should understand. Okay, this is very clear. Now, pod is a Spring Boot application. Now, for the moment. So, Spring Boot application, to connect with your database, Spring Boot application requires connection strings. That is what your database strings. That's the basic rule. So how you can provide the connection string to your application? That's the next important challenge. So in Kubernetes world, either first you can directly keep your information inside your application, but which is not a recommended approach. If you keep something inside your application, let me tell you the scenario. If you keep something inside your something inside your Spring Boot application, hard-coded, definitely your hard-coded parts definitely will try to connect. But that is not at all a good approach. Because, firstly, you are keeping your sensitive information directly as a configuration of your Spring Boot application, which is wrong, which is not a good one. So it's always recommended to keep your sensitive information either in the Kubernetes secrets or Azure Key Vault. Even I'm telling you about Azure Key Vault also. You can make use Azure Key Vault also to just store your sensitive information. But for now, let's try to assess how to store secret information using Kubernetes Secret YAML. So firstly, to do that, I have the pod deployments, but I don't have the database. Let's go there and browse in the database quickly, team. So just go to the portal. There you go for the MySQL. You can open any of this database, not an issue. We are trying to open one database, okay? One database. You just proceed further. You can open the flexible server. That is fine. So once you are open this one, team, there is a resource group which you can think about. For example, usually you will apply under AJ-RG -22. I think you can take anything. AJ-RG I'm just considering for your case. I'm just giving here Kubernetes. Don't give the Kubernetes information. Maybe you will be confused. I'm just giving project -db. Okay. I'm just giving a name called project -db. And go for this one. I'm trying to provision this one in the Southeast Asia. Let's see whether this is possible or not in Southeast Asia. I think last time it has not allowed me. Do you want to allow? So I think it is not allowed to provision in Southeast Asia. Yeah, I have a problem in Southeast Asia DB provisioning. Okay, I believe it's not allowing me. So what is the technique you should use, team? Yes, you can use a technique called you can keep your database in the East Asia. Okay, all right, not an issue, team. Not an issue. You can keep database in the East Asia. Okay, then I'm just going for development hobby project. Available region, I'm just keeping, these are all things I'm just keeping with the minimal configuration only. SQL authentication is the one exactly I'm talking about. CP admin, I'm talking about GP admin, I'm just giving some password, okay. I'm keeping some password. I'm taking the confirmation also on the password. That's all, team. Go for the networking. Networking here you can see this is a little interesting one, okay. If you keep the public one, definitely your Kubernetes cluster will connect, okay, without any doubt, right? Allowed at a private endpoint. You can keep the private access also. Even that is also absolutely possible, team. Okay, absolutely possible. So that is your call, which one you want to go. But my recommendation is the private access. Okay, please go for the private access. If you do that, I believe you have some subnets in the Southeast Asia. Sorry, you have some subnets in the Hong Kong region. I believe. Please go there and select one particular any of your VNet. Okay, I'm just selecting one VNet. One DB VNet is already there. ARGO VNet-HK. I'm just selecting one particular subnet for the database. Rest all same. Especially the private DNS zone. If you want to create a new private DNS zone, you can. I'm just creating a new private DNS zone so that you will get a very good idea, very good clarity. That's all. Once you are done with this thing, just create the MySQL Flexi server. I am going to give you a concept here for you. I believe I already gave. You should tell me now. This time, you're already smart this time. I'm just keeping a region here, team. I'm keeping a region. Okay. For example, now your case is little bit different here. So whatever you're thinking about, your database is sitting in the HK region, team. But your Kubernetes cluster, what are the Kubernetes cluster you are planning or you are thinking, this Kubernetes cluster region is bit different, okay. This Kubernetes cluster region is a Southeast Asia region, right? So there is a difference here, team. Please understand. So now the challenge or problem here is, team, there is one problem, okay. What is the problem? So cluster is sitting in one region, cluster is sitting in one region, a database is sitting in another region. You know what to do. I gave the solution already in your previous project, okay. I gave the solution already. Okay, so now what should we do? So what exactly we should do here, team? Firstly, let database to be provisioned. Private DNS zone got introduced. For that private DNS zone, you need to add a Singapore region VNet. That's all you need to do. You need to do VNet linking, followed by VNet pairing. That is all you need to do. Then automatically connections will be formed. You remember, right? VNet pairing and the VNet linking are needed, okay, are needed. Those two are the steps we need to follow. So wait. So now what we will do, once your database is ready, then we will try to form the connection accordingly. So usually before it gets ready, I want to introduce secret YAML specially. I need a secret file which consisting of these 5 attributes. So to create that one team, I'm just going here in the Visual Studio Code, click on the plus symbol. You can type the secret.yaml. Okay, you can type this one or something like that. When you click on the secret.yaml, so here is the one exactly. You need to give a proper syntax. Again, same thing. API version, kind, metadata, spec is a common thing only. If you refer here, instead of spec here, you can see string data. So if you refer this one team, API version, kind, metadata, this is what exactly metadata, label name is DB details. And also the type opaque means you are going to store this particular data in a key value format in the etcd server. Now you don't know what is etcd server now. etcd server is a database in the Kubernetes which can store all your cluster information, cluster state, all your sensitive informations also. You will understand more when I'm describing about your architecture, okay? So, but now what you need to understand, etcd server is holding, etcd is a kind of a database which can hold all your sensitive information in the key value format, and also it can store your cluster state, pod, service, each and every state it can store. Alright. So now team, once your secret YAML is placed here, now a little change you need to do. You know what exactly you need to do? You go to the browser. I believe I'm just waiting for this one to be provisioned. The reason for that one is I'm going to get the details from this MySQL server. So what you need to do team now, you just come back here. Let me fill few things because I already know. Especially I think username, password are same. I haven't changed this one. Now another interesting thing, you should understand this logic. RDS database name, hey, how do you know database name is to-dos? How do you know that? Because username, password you know because you provision. Port you know that is the default port which it will listen. But which database you should configure, how do you know? So to understand about the database to be configured, you should get a knowledge on your application what you are deploying. If you recall team, if you recall our Spring Boot application, whatever the Spring Boot application we did, okay? If you recall that particular approach which we did in one project, if you go to the repository, I will show you the technique, okay? If you open the, okay, this one is fine, more than enough. Open the SRC, open main, open resources, open the properties file team. When you open the properties file, they are always looking for a database called to-dos. Please understand. They are looking for a database called to-dos team. So that's the catch exactly I'm highlighting. So they are looking for a port called 3306. They are looking for a database host name called MySQL. If you don't define this variable, this one will be picked up. Don't define this variable, this one will be picked up. You don't define this variable, this one will be picked up. So that's the meaning for this one. So now what should we do? Even here also, username, password case also you can experience the same thing team. But this and all, why they place this kind of approach? Why they want to use some dummy values? These dummy values are really true when they are building their project local environment in their virtual machine. Because the local environment will use these variables to form a database and form a connection. So that is why they kept, if it is a dev or UAT or pre-prod, correspondingly variables will come. If it is not, it correspondingly localhost will come. That's only the logic here team. Alright. Now, I believe by this time it will be ready. I don't know why it is taking too long. Just we'll wait for a few more seconds. Yeah. So once your secret YAML is ready team, okay. So what exactly the changes I need to do, I will tell here. Firstly, I need to modify the host name. and then port is same, and database I need to create, because you are provisioning a server now. On top of it, you need to provision a database. MySQL server you are provisioning now. So on top of it, you need to provision database called to-dos. Once you are done with everything, then you submit this one. Then you will go for Kubernetes pod restart. That's it. That's it. Your problem, you should not see any kind of secret DB details not found or any kind of some config error. Okay, that error should not come, team. That is the expectation first. First we deployed the pod, then we are deploying the secret so that your pod and secret will be there. Then we will go for autoscaler followed by the service. That is the sequence we will follow, team. Okay. Awesome. So your deployment is okay. Now you just go there. Interesting facts I will tell. So firstly, what we need to do, team, you just go there to the server name. Please copy the server name. You just come back to the Visual Studio Code. Please fill the server name here. Okay. Once you are done with this thing, there you can go for, there is a port, there is a database name, username and the password, right? Especially database name is there. Copy the database name. Under this particular left section, there is a databases, right? Click on the databases, click on add button. Under the name, you just paste the to-dos. That's exactly the thing you need to do. What you did, you created a database inside a server. That's the thing you did, team. So once this is ready, what exactly the thing I'm recommending here is, go to your virtual machine, fill all the values. Okay, fill all the values. That's all your case. Okay. So now I'm just going to the virtual machine. Under the virtual, let's go to the virtual machine, team. Alright, I believe rest all will be same as it is. Once you have done with this thing, go to the terminal. Especially I'm just clearing the screen. Better you just make a bigger screen. Just clear the screen so that it will be very clear. Now whatever the secret YAML is there, whatever the secret of kubectl, apply -f, just drag this one there. Just drag it. That's all. So kubectl -f, just you are providing the path. That's all. Just press enter. You know, secret DB details got created. Now what you should understand here, team. kubectl, especially get PO. If you apply the kubectl get PO, the moment when you see, okay, something came to running state. Let's try to understand what is this one. Okay, kubectl describe PO. So the moment when you give this particular, describe this particular PO, remember one interesting thing. When your parts are running, you no need to describe it. You can check the logs directly. But when your parts are not running, anything, not only part, service, or secret, anything, you can describe it to know the root cause. If I describe it, everything happens successfully only. Everything happens successfully only. So let's do one thing. Let's try to double check the case one more time. Let's try to double check the case one more time. kubectl get PO. That's the thing I'm just giving running. But it is going for a restart stream. There is a problem again. I believe you should understand this one, okay? There is a problem again because it is going for the restarts. So when it is going for the restarts, the problem here is, something is wrong happening in your application. To know the problem exactly, kubectl logs, you just go there and just provide this particular middleware. Just give this particular logs -f to just see the running log. Just go there, team. You see this one awesome. You're seeing an error here. You're seeing this is what your application pod logs. Okay. You're seeing an error. A communications link failure. That's the problem exactly, team. This is nonsense, right? So some connection is not there. You know already what you need to fix. So the problem here is your DB is sitting in another region completely. Your cluster is sitting in one region. That's a problem here, team. So to fulfill this gap, to fulfill this gap, then what should we do? What exactly we need to do? You know VNet peering, you know VNet linking. You need to apply the technique, then you can solve this case, team. That's exactly the thing you need to proceed. That's all. If you do that, I think your problem is solved. Okay, that is what we need to do. So to do that, what exactly your recommendation? My recommendation is go to this particular thing and go back here. please understand two things before proceeding further. First, where exactly your database is sitting. That network is required. That network is really required for you. What is this network name? There is our ARGO VNet-HK. Okay, awesome. There is one more technique where your Kubernetes is sitting. This is not so direct team. Okay, if you come to Kubernetes and open the Kubernetes, you will not see what exactly the virtual network here. Please understand. You will not see, you cannot understand, oh, where exactly I deployed. To know that, what you need to do, you need to go inside a node pool team. Okay, please go inside the node pool. If you go, because cluster means it's a collection of nodes. Okay, where you deployed the node pool is the matter. So for example, okay, just a moment. Okay, some error I'm seeing here. Okay, it's okay. Let's fix this one bit later. Don't worry. So now what exactly I'm looking for? Click on the agent pool. Once you click on the agent pool team, yeah, you can come back here. Somewhere you can see this is the virtual network. Project-vnet-az. This is your Kubernetes virtual network. Awesome. I'm directly clicking on the Kubernetes virtual network. Now, once you hear step number 1, I told you peering, right? Click on the peering, click on the add button. So I'm just giving SG to HK, okay, something like that. Okay, everything I'm just keeping as it is. Okay, this may be not required because these options newly added team I haven't explored. Maybe I will double check these things later. Okay, copy this, just give this one pairing link name. There I'm just going for the virtual network link. Here is the one exactly you need to check your HK one. I believe I do see only one HK. This must be ours. Okay, select that one team. Okay, alright. So once you are done, just click on add button. 2 entries will be there. VNet pairing is awesome. VNet pairing is formed. What is the next important thing you need to do, team? After VNet pairing, you need to perform VNet linking. To do VNet linking, you need to go to private DNS zone. Correct? You need to go to the private DNS zone, team. Please go to the private DNS zone. There you can see one particular option called project-db. This is what your database exactly you created just now. Correct? Project-db. Just go to the virtual network team. Just click on the add button. See HK we got added. This what, see, wherever your database is sitting, that VNet will be automatically added. That's exactly the technique in the private DNS zone. You just come here, click on the add button team. Now you just come here, I'm just adding a cluster VNet, okay? Cluster VNet. Just come here, there is a virtual network which is a cluster is sitting. Can you please identify that one, team? Yeah, project-vnet-az. That is exactly the thing which you can look for. So I believe once you are done, I believe it should be fine. I'm just creating this particular virtual network link. Okay. So once your virtual network link is getting created, team, you know what will happen? That is what exactly you form the connection really well. Now you can proceed and you can go there and you can proceed to restart your parts one more time. If you do that, your problem is solved. You go to the Visual Studio Code, just going for the Visual Studio Code team. Okay, this is a communication link failed, meaning that it was unable to form a connection. You just go there, clear it out. kubectl get PO. Okay, get PO. I'm just applying the get PO. See, it is waiting for the crash loop back off. You know why it is going for this? Because of your only the issue, that particular DB connection issue is one thing. And also I just want to describe one more thing also. Let me double check, because crash loop back off could be the reason which comes from the describe also. We'll see the reason here. Is there any problem is again additionally coming here or not? Pulling image is okay. DB detail secret only the issue it is showing still. No, I think no worries. I think let's do one small activity, team. Now what exactly I'm going to do? I'm just going for the terminal. One more time, sorry. I'm just going for the terminal. Here I'm going to make the deployment one more time. kubectl get PO. You are seeing two parts here. So technique number 1, kubectl delete PO. Now what exactly I'm doing? Copy this particular part, place and space, and copy the second part also. This is one technique which you can make sure. So the two parts will be deleted. The interesting fact here is the moment when you delete a part, the controller manager immediately will check, okay, someone deleted the part, but my deployment is you have not deleted the deployment. Please understand. You have not deleted the deployment. kubectl get deployment, your deployment is telling still 2. So immediately controller manager will run 2 pods here, okay? kubectl get po -w. -w refers to watch. So 2 pods came back again. Now since it's running, you don't need to watch because it came to running again. So now I'm going there, I'm just double checking kubectl logs, just selecting this particular part, there's -f, okay? Let's double check. See, if this is from a suitable connection with the database, your task is done. Especially you know what you achieved, team? You achieved how a Kubernetes pod is connecting to the external component called database. That's the thing exactly you achieved at the moment. Oh, this is awesome. Once you achieve this one, what else are still pending? So those things also you should understand them, okay? For example, I'm just keeping this one also here so that you will be very clear on how exactly these things are, because this is what exactly your production equivalent configuration or something like this. So meaning that all your parts, whatever the parts you are thinking about, all the parts are pointing to your database only, okay? This is the case exactly you need to think about. That's awesome, team. That's awesome. But so far, public cannot access your application pod. That is impossible. He needs to come first inside the virtual network. He needs to come inside the Kubernetes cluster. He needs to come and access this application which is sitting in a different nodes. This is not possible. That's where the services are really helping you. Now services are really helping you to expose this application to the external world. So that is what exactly the services are helping you, team. Alright, team. So for now we have cleared our secret YAML. That's awesome. And also which is pending at the moment. If you notice your service, especially if you notice let me open your Visual Studio Code one more time. There I want to highlight a deployment YAML. If you check the deployment YAML, team, so what are the deployment YAML you are seeing? There is a deployment YAML, right? Yeah, this deployment YAML. If you see the deployment YAML, team, here there is no service section. There is no service section. Everything you can deploy at once. Now I'm going to take one more file called svc.yaml. svc.yaml. This is what the service section. Now what is the service section? Now you go back to your screen. Whatever the screen you have in the browser, team. We have the application ready here. You go to middleware-uat YAML, scroll down. This is what exactly the service we are talking about. I'm simply copying the service. You just go to the Visual Studio Code, just paste here, team. Just paste here. Awesome. Now the problem here is, team, you are trying to create a service. Please understand. Why we need service, team? We need service to connect to the external world. Please understand. Sorry, yeah. So what exactly the problem you are getting now? You don't know how to form a service YAML. So that's exactly the one more problem which I am noticing. So especially, team, in this particular case only, you should understand about the labels. That's an interesting fact, okay? Labels. Now, if you see this manifest, API server, kind, metadata, spec, a common thing only. These are the common thing. If you open the spec section, under spec section, you are seeing selector. You are selecting an app called middleware as labeled. That's the point you should understand. So it's a condition, team. It's a if condition, okay? If label as app colon middleware, I'm capturing that particular part. That's what exactly you are highlighting. Please understand. That's what exactly you are highlighting. What does it mean? So now, if you see the scenario, team, okay, let me come back here. If you go to the deployment YAML, in the deployment YAML, team, if you understand one particular technique, okay, let me show you the technique, okay. So this is what the label section, and again you have formed a match label section here, right? And again you have formed another label section here, okay. So you should understand these things clearly, okay. Just let's assess the case. Okay, let's assess the case. What exactly you are doing? You know, replica set is working on the selector label app colon middleware, this is trying to match with this. Whatever the thing you define here, you need to give the same thing here. Then your two deployment replicas will be launched. That's awesome. Same label. But when you go for the service, how exactly that works here is, under the pod template, you have defined a label called app colon middleware, right? The same label you should refer in the service. That's what exactly you're referring to. See, that is what exactly you're referring, app colon middleware. So your service will identify wherever the pod named as app colon middleware. For example, let's go for the diagram. In this particular diagram, what exactly I'm talking about, this is the label exactly you have used it so far. That's exactly the catch you should understand, team. Okay. So I'm just discussing more on the label side. Okay, more on the label side. So if you take this particular connection, I'm just taking this particular label. This is exactly the label will be there for all these pods, right? This pod also will be the same label on, because that is coming from the pod template. You should understand that technique, okay? So that's the label exactly been there. Now you are forming a service by matching the label. Now you know what exactly you're trying, team. You're forming a service, okay? So this is what exactly you're doing. This is what exactly you're doing. This is a service, okay? SVC. This is an SVC. So SVC refers to service. So this is the service exactly you're talking about, and this service is responsible to just capture your pods. That's a technique. That's exactly the technique of capture your pods. How exactly it is discovering? It is discovering your pods based on only one technique. Based on only one technique. That technique is called a labeling technique. Okay, please understand. That technique is called labeling technique. Okay. So now, what exactly the point you should understand a bit here. So I'm just let me form the connections first. Okay. Then we will think about the case. Okay. So this is the thing exactly you're talking right now. Okay. Awesome. Okay. So and also this one also I'm just giving. So I believe that should be fine. So fine, team. So this is the connection exactly you're trying to make. Just a moment. Okay. Fine, team. So now, awesome, team. So now you know what exactly you achieved. You have achieved the service is capturing exactly your parts wherever those are sitting. Okay, wherever those are sitting. So please understand this, and I'm just raising the thickness. Okay, all right. So this is what exactly the point you should think about, team. Okay. Now service is capturing. Service is able to capture. Awesome. So now this is what the service is doing. Now the service responsibility is to expose your application to external world. So that is what the service responsibility team. So now the external world from the user from the external world. Okay, I'm just taking a user. So now easily user can come and user can hit your application by using that particular external service. That is absolutely possible, team. Okay, that is absolutely possible. But the point here is what you should understand. How exactly this particular endpoint being accessed by the user. Okay, that is what we should think about now. Okay, just save this one, team. For now, what exactly I'm going to do, let me go back to your Visual Studio Code. What exactly the one thing which you need to try here. So if you form this service, automatically it will launch a service. Here is the technique available. You should understand a bit here. Okay, you know one thing, I will show you one technique. If you apply this service as it is, you know what will happen? Let me show you. Team. Okay, one interesting fact here. Okay, Okay, clear. So simple kubectl apply, same command, right? Kubectl apply -f. So whatever the svc.yaml is there, I'm just bringing here. Okay, once you are here, just hit enter. Your service will be created. But what kind of service it is? You know, you already know three services. One is cluster IP, another one is node port, another one is load balancer. But I'm asking you what kind of service it is. Okay, that is exactly the thing which you need to think about also, team. Okay, so how to know what kind of service it is? Okay, so now we should think about this case, team. Okay, we should think about this case. So firstly, what we need to do, once your SVC is ready, kubectl get SVC. Okay, just once you are here, team, here is the one exactly you are seeing middleware. kubectl edit svc. I'm just taking this one -o YAML. You know what exactly you're trying to do? You're trying to open your svc and you're trying to edit also. You just open this particular svc manifest. We are modifying the svc manifesting. Why? If you notice your model, whatever the service model you deployed, that is a cluster IP. Maybe you think I don't require cluster IP. You know very well about the cluster IP. Cluster IP is the one only the internal persons only can communicate. Only cluster components only can communicate. That is what cluster IP. You cannot provide a connection to outside. That is not possible. But you need to provide a connection to outside. Cluster IP is not the correct one. Then you need to go for the load balancer. That's the best case which you can refer. Here, under escape I button, then press I. After that, insert button will be, you can see at the bottom. Now you go to cluster IP section. Just remove that one, cluster IP, okay? And instead of cluster IP, you just pass the load balancer. Okay, load balancer, and also there is no space, okay? Load balancer, exactly the load balancer is the one which you need to provide. Awesome. So once you replace cluster IP with the load balancer, :WQ exclamation, hit enter, that's it. You know what exactly you achieved, team? What exactly you achieved? You converted your service into the load balancer. kubectl get svc now. If you try here, it is pending. You know why it is pending? Pending for the external IP. It will bring an external IP for you. That is exactly the connection which you can use to connect from outside. Okay, so that's the point. But to communicate internal components, it will use this IP. But to use the external component, it will use this IP. That's the advantage with the load balancer. So let me go there and try one more time. See, I got an IP. So this IP is listening on 8080. Please copy this particular IP. And also, I'm just giving a quick explanation here on the service one. Apart from the API, kind, metadata spec, your selector, these are missed. Now you can think about. Firstly, you need to understand protocol TCP. That is fine because it is happening on the network layer, level 4. And followed by port and target port are very important. Port is the one which you are talking about. This port is nothing but a service port. This port is nothing but a pod port. If you need to understand the diagram now. So you are listening on the port 8080 on the service. Your pod is also listening on the port 8080. That is what exactly you are telling. See, whatever the traffic you are getting here 8080, pass that one to port 8080 on the pod also. That's the thing too. You know why you need to pass on the port 8080? If you recall your deployment YAML, there is a deployment YAML for you, right, team? If you recall your deployment YAML, under the deployment YAML, under the spec section, you open the port called container port 8080. So your service is listening on the 8080, your pod is listening on 8080, your container is also listening on 8080. Please understand. So now you can change the ports also, not an issue, team. You can change the ports also. I'm just going to the, I'm just copying the IP. You just copy the IP :8080. If you give the 8080, hit enter. See, this is returning true, meaning that this is coming from the Spring Boot application. You can see the icon, Spring Boot application, where I'm seeing a success call. As an external person should be able to connect with this. That's an interesting fact here, team. Okay. All right. You can also give it a try. You can also give it a try from your mission. It will work as it is. Okay. But I'm seeing a lot of problems here. First one is it is using HTTP protocol. It is not using any domain. It is using a port as exposed. These are all the issues. We'll solve one by one slowly. But what we understand today, we understand the secret YAML, we understand the service YAML. So two things we understand, and parallelly we are doing our practical real-time project also. That is what exactly we are simulating.
Thank you for the session. See you in the next part.